Hello, and I am Wendy Lovejoy, www.moneyanswersallnow.com. I'm really excited today because we're going to be discussing something that I really believe affects a lot of people, your mindset. And the topic today is Money Answers Mindset. And I have with me...
Hello, I am Renee Smith. I am the Chief Empowerment Officer at iSuccess Consulting, and that's www.isuccessconsulting.com.
Awesome. So, Renee, I mean, you and I, we have such similarities in life. I know when we were talking, one of the things we wanted to go over is the mindset of people.
Yes.
Do you have any questions you'd like to start with?
I have a ton of questions, but I think one of the key things for me is that so many people do not understand that their mindset and the way that they think about anything in their life, whether it's money, relationships, it is going to affect the kind of life that they live. So the one thing that I want to ask to you is just to start off is if you go back and you look, your earliest memory as far as childhood, how did you see money?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, I ask people that a lot myself, but I have two experiences. And everybody's read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He had two fathers.
Yep.
Well, I have two experiences because one experience came from my mom. And I remember as a child that my mom, I'd come home from school on Fridays, and there used to be this big truck in front of the apartment building because the furniture was rented. My mom had 6 children. She raised them all on her own. She never ever got evicted or the phone got cut off, none of that. She always worked and covered her bills. But the furniture was rented. And so she got paid on Friday.
Okay.
And she'd rush home on Friday before the rental company was coming to repossess the furniture. But she always made it just on time to pay for that furniture. And then I have my stepfather, Alvin Curry, and he taught me my first memory was, I'm going to give you 25 cents. I'm going to give you 2 dimes and 1 nickel. And he said, Sunshine, I want you to take 10 cents and you're going to save that for emergencies. And then you're going to take the other 10 cents and you're just going to save that. But the nickel you can spend on whatever you want. Now, I had 2 schools of thought. And the odd thing is when I got my real estate office, Renee, I realized I was running it like my mom. I was waiting for an emergency. I'd literally have thousands of dollars in my pocket, but I wouldn't pay the phone bill until they were ready to cut it off. And I went to therapist and she said, you're recreating that always having an emergency that you learned from your mom. And then on my father's side, my stepfather rather, it was save more than you spent.
Right.
So I'm a saver, but I also used to wait until I had an emergency before I dealt with something, until I learned to change my mindset. So how did you see money?
Mine is interesting because I had 2 train of thoughts as well, my dad and my mom. My mom was the spender. We wore nice clothes. We were in all the extracurricular activities. My dad, he was the saver. So he would tell us, when you have a credit card, make sure you pay your bill off. When you get a house, make sure that you don't live in an apartment, get a house first. And so for me, it was very confusing. So when I graduated from college, I tried to make sure that all my credit card bills was paid off because that's what my dad did. When I wanted to go shopping, I got what I wanted to get because that's what my mom did. So for me, it was a battle. And so I just had to really find my balance and say, okay, you can enjoy life. You don't have to wait until you're 65 to spend or get what you want. And also, you don't have to spend all your money, and so that you can save. But I think the most important thing for me is that with my mindset, I really just had to realize, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to be? I think I was trying so much to be like my mom, trying to be so much like my dad, and neither one of them was working for me. So I had to create my own mindset as far as what I wanted. And one of the questions that I had for you is I'm such a visionary. Like I like vision boards. I'm a self-help, and I say it all the time, junkie.
Yes.
You know, I buy all these self-help books, and sometimes it's self-help because I actually apply it. Sometimes it's shelf-help because it just, sits on the shelf. What is one of the biggest obstacles? Why are people stuck financially? Let's just get real. You have so many people that are living paycheck to paycheck. They are making decent money or making good money, but they never ever have enough. If they get a raise, it doesn't matter, the money's gone. Why are people stuck financially?
Well, I think most people are stuck financially because they haven't started to look at how they see money, and they don't see where they want to go. They're looking at their circumstances, they're looking at all the things they don't have, and sometimes they're looking at what other people have, but they haven't dug deep and really figured out what they want out of life. Most people are not making enough money. They think, but they're really making enough money, and the problem is they're spending it on the wrong things. I think for me what happened is I had to discipline myself. I knew my why, and at the time my why was 3 babies and Pampers, that I knew I didn't want them living in the South Bronx. I wanted them to live, I found out that, the best neighborhood was Jamaica, Queens, and I wanted my kids in Cambridge Heights, so that was my real passion. I wanted to change the life of my children. And I think you first have to determine what is your passion. And the passion comes from inside out. You're never going to find your passion looking at the things outside. The money has nothing to do with it. How and what do you do naturally? What is your passion? Like we talked earlier, and you said your passion is administrative. If you gave me anything administrative to do, I would not be bothered with it. But if you tell me to talk to people, or I could study about real estate and investing and things of that sort forever, that's my passion. So I would say start with knowing what you really have a great passion about.
Okay, so let's talk to the mother that has the 3 kids, the 2 kids, the mom who feels like she has no time to do anything else. She gets up, she goes to work, she comes home, she takes care of the kids, she cooks dinner, she goes to bed. She wants a better life, but she doesn't see any time. She doesn't know how. Everybody around her is living the same life that she's living. So look at the camera and talk to her. Where does she start?
Well, I would say that mother, Renee, really doesn't want it yet. She's still caught up in the circumstances. You're telling me about all the busy work, but she hasn't sat down to say, I'm here now, but this is where I want to be in 5 years. This is where I want to be in 3 years. She's still looking at everything going around. What I did, because I was that mother. I was the mother with 3 children, no car, no money, not even $25 a week for a room. So I was that mother. But I knew that in a year from now, I wanted my kids to be in a private school. I wanted my kids to have a backyard and not be coming out in the South Bronx and seeing things they shouldn't be seeing. So I was pulled to where I wanted to go. I didn't worry about how I was going to get there yet. I just knew I didn't want to be where I was. So I think when that mother makes up her mind that she no longer wants that life and really taps into her real passion and what she's tired of, like what you no longer want to experience. You got to start there.
One thing I think that helped me is that a lot of times we get stuck in our environment. It's every day, it's bills, it's work, it's this. So I started to dream. I started going online. I started looking at the kind of life I wanted to have. I just started looking at houses or cars or just whatever that I wanted to have. I didn't have it right now. And if I didn't put something else in my mind, then I wasn't going to think that it was possible.
Exactly.
So you can't do it by yourself.
Right.
So for me at the time, I didn't have a coach, or I didn't have, friends that I could talk to because we were all in the same boat. So I had to start reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I started
And that
reading,
was your coach.
and that was my coach.
Yes, that was your coach. But you're saying the same thing I just said. You still had to look at what you didn't want and
Absolutely.
what you wanted to go toward.
And get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Exactly. So that's the main thing. You just said people get caught up in their circumstance.
The now, the
Right,
present.
yes.
Not looking towards the future. Yeah.
And that's not good. If you keep focusing on what you have, that's what you're going to multiply. But if you just have one dream, I shared with you earlier that one of the things I did when I was trying to create this new life